Have you seen Trump's numbers? You can't help but notice and recognize that Trump's approval numbers right now aren't great. They're not midterm slump bad. The media is not just being mean. Everyone is seeing the same numbers. They're just bad. Mid 30s in some polls, high 30s if you're feeling optimistic. It's the old glass half full or the glass half empty thing. And it's because of a lot of reasons. Gas prices are choking people at the pump. We're still seeing inflation, even if it's scaled down significantly. The Iran war is necessary, but it's unpopular. These are just facts, especially when it comes to things that come directly out of our pockets. People are just worn out. For me, none of this changes my support for the mission. It doesn't change my opinion on the direction of the Republican Party. It doesn't change my support for President Trump. I'm still on board, even if things feel a bit tight. I think most Americans feel this way. People aren't turning on Trump, even if that's what some in the media will suggest. We knew the stakes going into this, and we still understand those stakes now. We fully grasp the stark contrast between the Democrat agenda and the Republican one. And when I say stark, I mean stark. The Democrat Party of today is vastly different than the one your grandpa supported. What the polls suggest to me is that people are just tired. They're tired of paying close to $5 for gas. They're tired of inflation. As I said, it's slowing down, but it's not slowing down enough. And higher prices at the pump haven't helped. Again, that's not me flipping on the agenda. I'm just acknowledging the reality. I live in the same world you do. My red hat doesn't change that. When people get tired, approval ratings drop. It's not complicated. It's human. When I look at the polls, I get why people are sharing the sentiments that they are. I share those same sentiments. I'm tired too. I mean, if you really think about it, what's being felt right now is not something that just happened yesterday. This is something that's really been building since COVID. That one event sent us reeling down a path that's been hard to get off ever since. People lost paychecks. Their lives were turned upside down. And we saw massive inflation under Biden. The pain we're feeling now and what's being reflected in the polls is more of a response to everything that has happened up to now, rather than something that was only felt when Trump returned to the White House. And I think that's an important consideration here. In other words, I think the polls reflect fatigue more than they reflect buyer's remorse. Take those gas prices, probably the biggest rub in all of this. It's the one that, in all the other prices going up, just makes you want to throw your arms up in frustration. It's the last tick on the bomb before the timer cuts to zero. I mean, the gas prices are easily explained. Everyone knows gas prices are higher because of one thing and one thing only, the Iran war. As I've said before, it's a war I support, a war that was necessary. It's one that didn't just magically appear out of nowhere. It was the inevitable result of decades of bad decisions. Trump didn't just imagine this thing up. He's just the one who finally decided to take action against the threat. Sure, we may disagree on that. In my own mind, while I can understand the trade-off, even if I grumble every time I fill my tank right along with you, I also fully understand that many Americans, they don't care about geopolitics when they're at the pump. They don't care about what's happening with the Strait of Hormuz. They don't care about Iranian missile ranges or the global oil supply chain. They care about the number on the gas station sign. And right now, that number is punching them in the face. You can explain the strategy, you can explain the necessity, you can explain the long-term benefits, or even remind people that when the war is over, not only will gas prices fall significantly, but we get a safer America out of the short-term pain. None of that matters when someone is watching the pump roll past $70, $80, and $90. Inflation is the same story. It's not spiraling like it did in 2022, but it's still too high. It's been sticky and stubborn. And again, because this has gone on for as long as it has, it's just a built-up frustration. It's got people reaching a breaking point. The anti-Trump crowd wants to jump in right away and say, see, he's failing. But that's not what's happening. We're fighting a real war and trying to unwind decades worth of foreign policy disasters handed to us, frankly, by both parties. Fixing that comes with turbulence. It comes with a cost attached to it. In another time, this would have been a short-term pain felt, but this is like having a sore on your leg that's festered for years, only to now have it amputated. As the Three Stooges might have said, hey, I'm getting no place fast. It hurts more now because it's just one more thing on top of so many other things before it. The polls are reflecting fatigue, and that's not betrayal. That's not rejection. Fatigue is just what happens when many things stack on top of each other over a long period of time. When you're getting slapped in the face in the moment, sometimes it's hard to see the why. You have a hard time seeing the chaos that prompted the slap before it came. When the calm comes, sometimes you can reflect, gee, I needed that. You see, it's not just the Iran war here. It's all the other stuff, all the other chaos we've been trying to work through. That's just the one thing that really hit us hard at a time when everything else was already hard enough. And yes, Republicans are taking a hit for it. Donald Trump is taking that hit especially, and he's even acknowledged that. He's been very vocal, telling the American people, hey, I don't like this either. What I'm saying is that sometimes polls are not a reflection of support or dissent, but rather a snapshot of sentiment. That's a different thing. You can say on the one hand, yeah, this sucks, but on the other hand, understand why it does, and even understand that maybe it needs to suck a little bit. The media wants you to believe that Trump's low approvals are a sign of failure. They want you to believe that it's an abandonment. And sometimes they are a clear sign of those things. It depends on how you frame the questions. It depends on what you don't ask. Look, I'm not trying to frame this as a dismissal of what the polls say. I'm not trying to blow them off just because I support Trump and the Republican agenda. I'm not trying to say they don't matter or even that they are wrong. Low polls like this hurt. They can sway elections. Here's what I tell people. If you're frustrated, you're not wrong. If you're tired, you're not alone. Things aren't perfect. You're right about that. Things aren't all hunky-dory. This is true. I'm just saying don't confuse discomfort with failure. Don't confuse fatigue with collapse. Sometimes the right path is the one with the potholes. Sometimes the right leader is the one who makes the tough calls and is willing to take the hits for them. And keep in mind, he's not running for re-election, even if there are some crazies out there throwing out ideas about a third term. I admit it's hard to ask for patience and just a little more time when people are already at their wits' end. I'm saying I get it. I'm saying the polls make sense to me. Look, America's been through worse, much worse. We've been through recessions, wars, crises, and moments where everything felt like it was falling apart. And every time we came out stronger. This moment is no different. The economy will stabilize, gas prices will come down, inflation will ease, the war will reach its conclusion, and when it does, the long-term benefits will outweigh the short-term pain. America's tired, but it's not done. Regardless of how things feel in the moment, we are still on a better, clearer path than we've been on in a long time. Trump's approval is low, but the mission is right. And I think that what the polls actually show confirm that for me. What's the old saying? No pain, no gain. If everything was perfect right now, that would give me way more pause than what I'm seeing now. It's like a storm. They're scarier in the calm before them because you really don't know what the storm is going to bring. We're in that storm now, and I truly believe we've seen the worst of it. What say you? What are the polls telling you? Let me know in the comments. And hey, if you've made it this far, thanks for giving me your time. I truly do appreciate it. If you like what I'm doing here, hey, consider giving me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so we can talk again.